Welcome back to the Crackers and Cheese podcast. I'm Sabrina Jayy.
I'm JJ.
And today we are discussing The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 10, entitled The Lost and The Plunderers. So what did you think of this episode, JJ? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Definitely a big thumbs up. We had a lot more of a structure to this episode as we were following a type of theme of following specific characters throughout the episode. And we ended off with a very, very interesting speech between Rick and Negan.
So Negan went in on Rick.
Yeah, and it was like, I don't even know if it was more of like a mental thing he was doing with him or if it was like he was actually talking to him man to man. Like, because it seemed pretty genuine. And
but it was pretty harsh in Negan fashion. It was pretty harsh and to the point and straight up.
Yeah, like Negan has always been very particular, and we learned also with this episode that he really does have like a system, like a standard of apology, which is take one, and the rest will follow, as he said with Simon. Yeah,
that's his thing.
Yeah, so
okay, well, let's go back to the beginning. Okay, let's go through each of the scenes. So they had this like weird structure with this episode where they were showing, I guess, they were giving like one person the spotlight. Yeah. So they did Michonne, they did Enid, they did Rick, they did Jadis, they did Simon. So it started off with Michonne at Alexandria. So the show started off with Michonne and Rick mourning Carl at Alexandria the next morning after the fire. And pretty much Rick and Michonne are in Alexandria and they're packing up to leave. And they are leaving and they end up in the garbage people's place.
Before they got there, though, we saw it seemed like they were the last to leave, following immediately from what happened in the last episode. Everybody left and they made their way to Hilltop, I believe. Yeah. Pretty much everyone is grouping back together officially, and Michonne and Rick are the last ones. They're still at the Alexandria at this point.
They're still at Alexandria.
It seems like we're seeing like the rummage of everything that's broken down from all the grenades and explosions and fire that happened all night.
And Michonne's pretty emotional about it. You know, she's looking around and she's just like, wow, like
it seems like
our shit's gone.
A lot's on like both of their minds. Like they lost so much and
so fast.
And they just lost Carl too. So it's like they have so much to process.
They lost a lot, and this isn't one day, you know. This whole thing is happening in like 1-2 days.
It's all overnight, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in the car, and they're pretty much, it seems like they're heading to Hilltop. I don't know where they were heading, but they're in the car, and they're looking at the letters that Carl wrote to everybody, and they realize that Carl wrote a letter to Negan.
Yes, that's interesting. And you can kind of see through the paper as well that he had a lot to say. Mm-hmm. We can probably get a close-up analysis on what exactly that letter said. I'm sure someone's gonna get to that. We'll find out later. But yes, it seemed like he had a lot to say to Negan. We got the long short of it, but we'll get to that later on.
Yeah. So they noticed that he wrote a letter to Negan, and then for whatever reason they go to the garbage people, and they end up having all the garbage collapse and the door getting blocked, and there's a bunch of walkers, and that's where that scene ends.
Yeah, funny thing, actually, we've been calling them the garbage people this entire time. We knew that they had an actual name. Did we?
It was the Scavengers.
The Scavengers, yeah. And then Negan comes and he just calls them the garbage people. Like,
because that's what they are.
I guess we're not wrong.
Because they never, no, but Jonathan, they never like told like, we are the Scavengers. They are just like garbage people that talked weird like Yoda. Like they were just weird.
Like Yoda.
Yeah, they talk backwards, no pronouns.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned the Scavengers at some point, but it was just,
how the hell are they scavenging? Oh, I guess they're scavenging garbage. Like
I guess
they're weird. So Rick and Michonne get trapped in the garbage people's dump. And then the scene ends there. So then we're taken to the next scene, which is Negan at the sanctuary.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Negan number 2 right after Michonne. So we finally get Negan for the second half of season 8.
I get so excited seeing Negan. I love seeing him. Yeah, Negan. So
really,
interesting.
Mr. Morgan, he's doing a great job with this role. Like it was a really good cast. Like I'm happy. Jeffrey,
the guy who plays Negan.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, I like Negan's character. He's there. I'm like, I get so excited in my head, and and he's talking to Simon. Finally, I know his name. Simon. He's the guy who was at the Kingdom, who saw Morgan and Carol and Ezekiel, throw down and all this shit. And he's back at Sanctuary, and they're talking about pretty much everything that went down.
Yeah, so I guess the main topic in this discussion was how they're going to handle the situation with the garbage people, the scavengers, and what Negan was saying was, we're just going to do our standard protocol for apology, kill one, and the rest will follow.
Mm-hmm.
And this time we saw that Simon had a different idea. In fact, Negan read it on his face right away and said, like, you have something to say.
Yeah, and then he's like, said, say it. Like, yeah, what's good?
And Simon gave his ulterior path of how he thinks this should go. And this brings us right back to how things were with Rick and Shane from season 1, season 2. They didn't see eye to eye. And then one started doing things different from the other.
Behind someone's back.
That, next thing you know, somebody dies.
And so, I'm sure in this situation, it'll be Simon who dies.
Yeah, with something like this, and it's Negan, definitely is. They're gonna have some what's the word? Fallout within the group.
100%.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So, what did the garbage people do that are supposed to piss off Negan? What did they do?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just a conflict of allies, basically, because we've kind of seen them. They used Rick as a bargaining chip against them, from what I understand. They captured Rick and they contacted them right away.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And they were like, "Yeah, we have Rick," and then Rick convinced them to do something else, which failed because when they got to the Sanctuary, everything was all fucked up. Yeah. But anyway, so Negan and them are kind of pissed off at the garbage people, and Simon wants to kill them. And Negan's like, "No, we're gonna make an example out of one person," which is his style. Yeah, dealing with situations. Like
Simon was like, "Oh, we have to cut our losses," kind of thing, and then we can like expand out and try to find somebody else that we can work with instead of having to deal with these people that are obviously giving us a problem. And Negan's philosophy on it is like, that's the easy way. Like, we're trying to do something different here. We are trying to save people. And important thing that I wanted to note is that when Simon was talking about this, going down to reach out to other people, he said, in quotations, kind of, save others. So he's pretty much hinting at Negan that he's not really for his form of saving. And Negan kind of read on that right away. And that's why he was like, it's taking so much in me to not like whatever at you right now.
But here's the thing. I think that Negan's mistake in this whole situation is the fact that he doesn't like, here's what the problem he's having. He has like made a culture of people who are kind of afraid of him. I can see what he's trying to do, but I feel like if you're trying to lead people, you guys all have to believe in the cause genuinely. And I feel like there's people in his camp that are just doing what he says because he has so much power. In my head, he really doesn't. They just have to kill him, but they won't. But like, they don't really, like, Simon doesn't really believe in what Negan's trying to do. He doesn't believe in it. He's like, well, we should just kill everybody. He's a problem, Simon.
Yeah, I think he's a big problem. Killing more people would only just tarnish any image of being an actual like caring leader that Negan may have. Because as we've seen from the people that are in the Sanctuary that are just workers, they seem to really enjoy having him be someone to look up to tell them what to do. In this, because like, this world is crazy. Like, not everybody can be like a leader in a small group. Like, sometimes like being in a big group like this and just doing your part is enough for you.
Oh yeah, not everyone's born to be a leader. But you have to understand, if you look back, like the blonde guy who turned on them, who's with them in the sewers. Yeah, I don't know his name. The guy with the burnt face.
Yeah, the burnt face man.
The burnt face man. Okay, I feel like the people that are in his leader circle, like the blonde dude, Simon, whatever, Gavin, all those people, I feel like all of those people are there and he has something on them. So if you remember with the blonde guy, he burned his face. Negan burned his face. Yeah. And he has something on him. He had his women. Remember he had his girl? And he's like, I got your girl. And he was like flexing on him on it. Remember? In a couple seasons ago, last season?
Negan was.
Yes, Negan was.
Yeah, because Negan has a bunch of wives.
But I'm saying, like, a man who's watching another man take his woman and, like, pretty much go after that, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be okay with it. So he has this whole, like, philosophy on, like, his way of controlling people and, like, getting them to, like, kind of listen to him. But they don't really like him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's his flaw, because if they don't like you, at least, like, they say it's better to be feared than to be respected. It's either one of the two.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think for him, it's more so fear than respect.
Yeah, 100%. That's his whole thing. But at the same time, what he's doing is allowing his numbers to grow. And that's one thing that he has over everybody around him is numbers and cooperation. And in the end, that's what really makes a team.
But he's going to have to get rid of Simon. Simon, he is literally like stepping on his toes. And not like directly to his face, like, I don't fuck you, like kind of like Shane was to Rick. But he is, over time, he's going to end up like really messing up Negan's real plans if he continues to let him having power. And I think that it might blow up in his face now that this whole garbage thing happened, which we're going to get to next. But Simon's a problem. So what happened at that scene when Negan and Simon are talking is people from Hilltop come back, and they come with a coffin, and it's a note, and it says 38 more. We got 38 more.
Yep. So now they're pretty much making them aware that we do have your people. That's pretty much a message directly to Simon, because Simon was the only person that was working with Hilltop. Negan never went there.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we know. And so he got angry right away, and he was like, "We're not gonna take this stuff. We're gonna kill them. Like, let's go and kill them all right now."
Right, and Negan's just like, "No, again, I told you, we don't do this."
Tries to keep them in line. Negan raises his voice to Simon for the first time, I think, and that was pretty much saying like, "I'm the boss" kind of thing.
Yeah, like, don't forget who I am kind of thing.
Yeah. And
so his mission is pretty much to go to the garbage people and kill one of their people and let them know like that we're still gonna go on business as usual.
Yeah.
We're gonna forgive you, but pretty much don't let this shit happen again, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that was Simon's mission.
Yeah, that's what he said he had to do.
What we took away from that scene is that now we know that Negan knows about his 38 people being held hostage at Hilltop, meaning he is going to address that. Yes. He's not going to like let that go.
Yep.
But he now knows, because I was like, how does he know? Well, now he knows. The next day, he found out that Maggie's got his people.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so in the next scene, it was Enid, and the guy,
Eric, I think.
Enid and the guy got captured by the all women hidden people.
Yeah, the group of just
the
women
concave
in the forest. Yeah,
they captured him. This happened like before the break. I almost forgot about them. So what had happened? Okay, so let's just go back to why those people are pissed.
So basically, before the half season ended earlier in 2017, they were going out there to try to, because what was her name? Tara. Yeah, she was there before, as you know. She spent a couple episodes there, and basically sent her off. They told her not to come back.
Yeah,
and that
she
was
broke
the one
her promise.
rule. And then she decided, okay, I'm going to give my team this information that there's a bunch of women in the forest that have a whole bunch of guns. And they're like, okay, so she tells them.
That was a good move.
And now Enid and Eric is on
Let's
their
just
way
call him
there.
Eric.
Eric, okay.
Enid and Eric are there, and why did they go back there?
I think the purpose was to try to talk to them and try to give them information on what's going on, the bigger picture. But it went south immediately, which led to the death of one of the people there. The mom
was the leader, the old lady.
Was it the leader? I
think
it was
the leader,
later.
bro.
Yeah.
She was the leader. She was the one. Like okay, here's my thought on those people. The whatever they are. Okay, the women.
They don't have a name. Yeah,
as far as we know. Group of hidden women in the forest. Okay, they suck at like defending their place. Their ninjas or their watch out people that are in the trees are shit. The reason why I say that is because every single time, like, Tara was able to infiltrate the place on her friggin' own, and they couldn't even catch her.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was really weird. What is wrong with
you people? Don't you get your shit together, man?
But it pretty much. But there's explanation for that though, because all of they said that the handling of the arms and taking care of resources and stuff is done by the men, and all the men are gone and I think dead. And that's why it's just women there. It's not like they intentionally
No,
are
I
trying
know
to be
that.
a group
No,
of
that's
women.
not what I'm trying. I'm trying to say is that they're not trained. They don't know what they're doing.
I know, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Which
like, they're not the ones that's supposed to be handling this kind of stuff.
Exactly, but they need to learn. And if, especially since they're trying to act like they don't want to have help, they don't want to, like, join other people, then they better get their shit together, or else Savior's going to come and wipe them out quick.
Yeah, that's why I guess they're trying to, the people that we know, Rick's group is trying to make their move and try to say, okay, listen, like, let's work together, you know, let's just not leave you in the forest to just live, and like, you know, there's more to it than that.
So anyways, Enid and Eric are there, and they're pretty much telling them, okay, we're going to go to the beach and kill you guys, because they're trying to get payback for the fact that they killed their leader.
Yeah.
And Eric, or one of them, Enid, the girl, she kind of talks them out of it so easily too. Like, this is just showing how, like, they're just not.
I know, and
like,
she was
pretty, so, like, they just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, she was pretty abrupt about the whole thing too. Just kind of saying like, "Oh, you."
She was like, she's like, "You live," and she says something like that, like, "You will live," or you live. Like, she says some word, and then she in like 2 seconds she's changed her mind on killing them. And I was just like, okay,
she's like, let them
if
live.
you're gonna be
like,
a boss, be a boss. If you're gonna be a boss, be a boss. Kill them. But if you flippity floppity, you're not gonna last. You're gonna stay in that forest, you know?
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem I have with these groups, and I feel like we see that a lot with the scavengers as well.
They're so flip-flop, those people.
Yeah,
that's why, and we're going to talk about it now, what happened to them, but that's why people like that don't last. I mean, okay, so what happened with Enid is she lets them go, and then Enid and Eric are, you know, pretty much supposed to be going back to Hilltop at this point, but Eric is like, I'm not leaving here until I can convince them to join the fight. And Enid's like, no. And Eric's like, yes, go back to Maggie and tell him what I'm doing. She's like, I'll see you again. Whatever.
Yeah, they're pretty much raising a bunch of flags that this guy's not going to come back. It's like, promise I'll see you again. He's like, I promise. Like yeah.
Like, they're not going to kill him. They're so pussy. Okay, anyway, so.
I don't know. There was actually one article I heard about this from IGN, I believe. They were talking about this whole thing with this character, Eric, and saying how the biggest flaw in Walking Dead is that they think that we care. That was the headliner. Yeah. Like, Eric, in my opinion, I swear to God, if his name's not Eric, I'm sorry.
It probably isn't Eric, but the fact that we don't remember his name just tells me that he's so irrelevant.
He's such a, like, small character to the story right now, and they did this whole thing with, like, his lover dying.
I didn't even know he had a lover. When he was like, oh, my lover's dying,
he was, like, crying.
He had a lover?
They had, like, almost, like, a third of an episode dedicated to him losing somebody,
which was a waste.
And I was like, what's going on? That happened last season, if you don't remember, during the whole war. I
don't even remember him having a boyfriend. I was like, he has a boyfriend? What?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. That's a problem. And that's why I saw the headline. I was like, I can't help but think about it. So I don't know if they're gonna take some more time to try to flesh out this character, or if he's gonna be more important to it. They should just take him out. They rose a flag saying that he may die in this situation because Enid's like, promise I'll see you again. So he should probably not gonna happen.
Because you know why he needs to die? One, he's irrelevant. He's boring. And two, he's stupid for even trying to stay.
All right, we're not trying to roast this guy. Let's move on.
Let's roast him, but no, let's not roast him, because you know what? Okay, anyways, next. So Enid leaves to go back to Hilltop, and Eric stays to try to talk to those people.
Yeah,
like, he's an idiot.
And then that's that.
And then, yeah. And so they clearly have no idea what's been going on. So next scene is Simon's scene. And now we see Simon go to the garbage dump people, and he is supposed to do what Negan told him to do, which is kill one person, ask for an apology, and take their guns. So,
and yeah, that did not go exactly as it should have. It was starting to. Simon was doing what he does, which is this intimidation type of speech where he seems friendly, but clearly you know that shit can go down pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what ended up happening. They got all the guns. As soon as they had all the guns, he was like, okay, well, I don't feel like you're sincere in your apology. And what was the word that she said?
She was like,
she's like, we're remorseful. And then he's like, I'm not feeling it. Then boom, he shoots somebody. Just like that. Someone.
Okay, and so right then at that there, okay. That's what Negan said. Negan said, kill someone. I was like, all right, bro. You did what he said to do.
Yep. And then
she got shook when
she looked at him right away and she was like, we're remorseful. And you could see her composure completely changed after that happened. She got
shook when he shot that guy.
But then he just kept going. He shot another person.
And he shot her girl. That girl that he shot, that was like her secondhand girl. Like, we've seen that girl more than once. And so when he shot her face was like, yo. And she was like, we're remorseful. And he was like, and I could tell he went on a frenzy. He was like, oh, F it. It's going down. Like,
yeah, like, I was thinking, like, she was probably ready to be like, okay, let's just keep our heads down and just let him go. They killed one person. But he killed the second one, and that's when they went too far. She just lost control and punched him in the face and said, we're remorseful, you son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. And then that was it. He gets up, he laughs, and he's just like, light him up, boys. And then they kill everybody. Except her.
Yeah, well, of course, they're not going to kill her because they got to let her look at it. But it's like, Simon is a problem because Negan specifically told him you're not to do that. And he really this is going to come back to haunt him. And even worse, like, this, because Negan thinks about this really, like, deeply. Like, he's going to be like, Simon lied to me. Anybody that was on the team with him didn't come to me about this either. So they lied to me too.
Yeah.
And so this is a problem because, so it's either, okay, so he killed them and the next scene he goes back to Negan and Negan's like, yeah, so what happened? And then Simon's like, yeah, everything went fine. Yeah, so he lies.
Right away, like, you saw on Negan's face that because, like, Negan is he's a judge of character.
He might have known.
Yeah, he knew. He may already know, but you can kind of see in his face that he's expecting him to do something wrong. He was like,
he knew he would do something
literally,
wrong.
He was like, so how did it go? And he had a straight face looking at him. And then he told him, and he was looking at him like as if he already knew.
I feel like he already knew. He already knows. I feel like someone snitched. Because either someone snitched or Negan knew from the guy's eyes in the conversation they had before he left that this guy, he's not going to listen to me. I already know.
Yeah, we know from experience with the group of the Saviors that information goes around really fast. Like, everybody has walkies. People are giving information like crazy. And it was demonstrated to us at this finale of season 6 when Rick's group was trying to escape and they were just at every point of every highway that they were trying to turn to. Yeah. Like, they're really informative people, so I wouldn't be surprised if he knew about it like moments after it happened.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he knows about it. But something happens.
Which actually takes me back to that one scene earlier with Eugene when he was with them, and he gave the poisonous pill to the black girl that died. Sasha, yeah. And then you can see in his eyes that he suspected Eugene of doing something. He didn't know if it was the pill. He didn't know what it was, but he just looked at Eugene and he was just like, and Eugene was just like, she must have died of suffocation. He just looked right in his eyes and he's like, well, that better be it, kind of thing.
He was suspecting him.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Negan is a good judge of character. Like, he's able to see through people.
He can see people are lying.
Yeah, and that's pretty much another part that makes him, like, successful in this whole crazy world right now.
Right.
Okay, so back to what's going on.
So while Simon is reporting to Negan, Negan's looking right at him like, so what happened? He gets handed a walkie-talkie and they're like, it's Rick. So when that whole scene happened at the garbage dump people and Simon shot them all up, we're thinking as an audience like, yo, where's Rick and Michonne? Because they're there. We know this for a fact that they're at the dump right now. Exactly. We don't know if it's before or after. That's the only thing. We don't know if they come after this whole situation with Simon or if they come before. So when they hand Negan the walkie-talkie and they're like, it's Rick, we're like, oh shit. So if it's Rick, that means that Rick is there. Clearly.
That's what we thought, but then it turns out that
it was
when they're showing Rick, it was after. So we were
while they were driving, yada yada.
Yeah, pretty much it went back for Simon's part of the story. And here's a little hint, I guess I want to point out that happened in this episode. When Rick got there, he stepped in blue paint. And guess what? Blue paint went on Simon's boot as well, and that was evidence that he was there. And I guess it's pretty much showing us in a small symbolism that it went down. And I think that maybe maybe this is me just thinking. Maybe this is going to be a connection saying you have blue paint on your foot. You have blue paint on your foot.
You were at the same place
both
at the same
place at
time.
the same time.
So are you working with him?
Yeah, that might raise a question. So these are little things
I
that
didn't
they
even
put
notice
in
that,
there.
yo. I didn't even notice that. So it's insane. So Negan gets a call from Rick, and we're like, oh damn it. So then we jump to the next scene, and it's Jadis. Jadis is the queen of the garbage dump people. And
Garbage dump people, the scavengers.
I didn't even know her name was Jadis until they showed me. What the fuck is
Jadis was like, oh okay, that's okay. We got it.
Jadis. She has a weird spaceship type name. Anyway.
Yep.
Michonne and Rick are in the dump, like where we left them, and they're fighting off all the zombies. Little do we know, the zombies are her people. Shit. So they're killing all the zombies, the walkers, and next thing you know, they see Jadis up there looking crazy.
Yeah, she took off her armor. She's wearing nothing but like a gown.
And she's talking normally. She's not talking like Yoda. She's talking like a normal person. Like, oh, so she really lost it. So she's like all wreck.
Yeah, so she's like, it seems like people do like to try playing characters. That's a common theme that's coming now into this show. And she clearly was, because now she was just completely like, she looked just like a distressed human in an apocalypse, as one should be.
I know, and like, but it's so weird how in the show, like, that's just a side note. It's so weird how in the show people took the apocalypse as an opportunity to act out their like dream character. Like Ezekiel decides to be a king in the medieval times with dreads and the tiger, and Jadis is like Yoda garbage person that's trying to pretend she's from space, but she's freaking not. I was like,
I mean, even weird. Look at Eugene. Eugene is like, I'm like a scientist from, I need to get to wherever, so because I have the cure to solve everything in the world. Like everybody's kind of like has something that they want to pull out their sleeve for this world. But you know, I guess that's just how it is. You know, these people end up being successful because of what they're saying that they are. You know, you got to talk a big game. That's how you're able to make it in this kind of world.
It's freaking so dumb though. Anyway, Jadis literally gets a slap across the face with reality when all her people get killed, and so now she's kind of crazy. Yeah. So Rick sees her. Rick doesn't like her because she was very nice to him.
she started saying how, like, you know, they can like get out of there together, and then she was just like, and Rick was just like, nah, because if you remember, she wasn't exactly much of a friend to Rick at all.
Ever.
Like, literally, they tried to work out a deal. It didn't work out. She ends up working with Negan, and
she
betrays him, shoots him, push him off of a wall, and then even then he goes to her again, and he's like, listen, we got info, we got stuff, we want to work with you, join our side, it's going down. And she was still like, no, captures him, keeps him locked away from this team. He has no idea what's going on. He's just saying, you're making a mistake. And guess what?
She did make a mistake. She made a mistake, and in that moment when she saw Rick, she realized it. She's like, oh, come on, just let me come. Just let me come. And Rick looks at her.
Yeah, he's like,
bitch,
nah.
And then Rick too, boss man, takes the car of the door, makes some spikes.
Yeah.
Bullets through all of the walkers with Michonne, bam, bam, boom, like they always do.
I really, really love that scene.
I'm like, yo, Rick's a boss.
It was like my second favorite part of this episode, actually. Just seeing how they were in this situation where all the zombies were coming and cornering them, and they didn't even communicate to each other, Rick and Michonne. They knew what they needed to do. They picked up some stuff. They figured out how to use something well for defense and weapons, and then they just went in, started pushing the zombies away and killing exactly which ones they needed to clear a path. They moved what they needed out of the garbage and found their way out. They didn't say anything to each other the entire time.
Jadis, pathetic Jadis. She's there she tries to take a door. She tried to copy him. She's so shit.
Exactly.
And then she couldn't. She's like, and she's like pushing, and I'm like, oh my god.
This was the moment of the show that really showed how experienced Rick and Michonne are in this whole situation. Like, they are survivors. They really have been through a lot, and it shows through their combat style.
I know. It really does show their skill, and it shows how Jadis has just been hiding in the garbage. She doesn't know how to do shit. So literally, she's sitting there like, oh, and I was like, yeah, bitch, you should have teamed up with Rick when you had the chance. And now that you didn't, look what's happening now. You have no one. Exactly. And so then she sat there, she got crazy. She's watching all her people walk into the little moving machine, and they're all going, that's weird, turning into like mush.
Exactly, yeah.
She went nuts. And so to me, there's no more Jadis. She might as well. I mean, it's
yeah.
pretty
If
harsh,
in
but
fact,
goodbye.
like when she was
her.
watching her, she turned on the it's actually a garbage compressor ish
Right.
thing, like rips up garbage or whatever.
Right.
She was watching all of her allies just fall into it and turn into mush. It almost looked like she was willing to fall into it herself, and then like
I thought she was going to.
She took one last look at like the pile of guts that was at the end, and she just like turned it off, and then she just like laid down. I'm like, okay, yeah, she's just having a moment, I guess.
We might see her later, but I'm not concerned about her.
But yeah, this situation just shows like if you don't have the experience, then it's gonna show once you're in that moment kind of thing. You know,
does.
like you can't lie on your resume. Like you don't act like you're a big deal, and
really
then
can't.
next you know you can't handle it when it comes down to it. She's like I was saying this before when we're talking about the woman in the forest. I feel like she really has a really weak backbone. She can't stand up for herself,
and she can't commit to a decision.
Whenever she has to make a deal of any form, she always she always takes a short end of the stick. She did it with Rick. She did it with Negan. Remember, like that whole thing when she betrayed Rick, and then they're talking about splitting resources, and then Negan's like, you get 10 or whatever, and then she said like 20, and then Negan just gave her a look, and he was like 10, and she was like, okay, 10.
Yeah, she sucks.
She just like she doesn't know how to put pressure.
Yeah, she was trying to act like she was all this big woman, whatever, and she really wasn't, because she has to put on this show with her little Yoda talk and her weird outfits, and she's like looking in their face and like up in the air and like, ooh, no, yes, and like at the end of the day, she's weak.
Yeah, that's basically just like revealing the core of her character. Like there's no more hiding it. Like she has weak backbone. She can't even stand up.
She's irrelevant, just like Eric. Next scene.
Okay.
Rick, the best scene. It's Rick's scene, and yeah, Rick is with
the final part of the episode.
So it's Rick and Michonne, and they're driving after leaving Jadis, and he's trying to rationalize to Michonne, like, I left her because you know what I mean? I couldn't, trust, whatever. He's trying to rationalize it. And Michonne's like, oh, we got to think about Carl's wishes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she's like, this is exactly what Carl was talking about. Because he was saying how, like, this is, I think, because that's the conversation they were having at the very beginning of the episode when Rick was like, what did he mean? Because like, he was talking about, like, his vision of, like, how we're all at peace. And Negan was there as well, even at peace with everybody. So it's like, what does this really mean? Is like, this is exactly what it means. These type of situations where you have to make choices, these are the type of choices that are going to change how things can be better in the future. Right. And so Rick promised in the last episode, I'm going to make it true. Like, that's pretty much the initial little bit of a test to be like, okay, are you really going to make change? Yeah. So like, that's him not changing. That's basically what happened there.
That's decision, which is he wasn't thinking of Carl in that decision. Yeah. And so now he's like, I need a minute, and he gets out of the car and he's looking at, and he reads Negan's letter that Carl wrote.
They gave us like a little sneak preview of it. I'm sure if we freeze that frame, we could probably pick out a little bit. We don't have it with us right now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to be out there. We're probably going to hear the entire thing. Like, I would assume in the next episode. And he obviously he has a note for Rick as well, for Dad.
He got a note for everyone.
Yeah, we don't know anything that's in his note curious. Exactly. But we're gonna find out soon.
So he reads the letter, and then he radios Negan
immediately
on the walkie-talkie, and Negan gets on immediately, and we know this is when he's talking to Simon. This is while he's talking to Simon about what happened at the garbage place. He gets the walkie-talkie, and he says, "Carl's dead." Straight up. Yep. Carl's dead, and he wrote you a letter.
Yeah,
and he wants peace.
Exactly.
And he says verbatim, "It's too late for that." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. And
he's like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, he just doubles down, triple down now on what he's been saying this entire time. And the Negan was just like, he sees that Rick's just trying to like get emotion out, so he just got to bring it down to level ground. Like, how did he go? Like, how did he die? Yeah. And then he's like, did he die from our people? And
he's like, you know what? He died trying to save someone. He got bit. And Negan just went in. He just told him like straight up,
it was very clear.
He's dead because of you. Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, those are serious fighting words, but at the same, this is the conversation we're waiting for now. So, yeah, these are serious fighting words, but at the same time, there's like deep meaning in this now, because like this is my favorite part of the episode, obviously, because like
Yes.
we're really seeing like Negan's character like in a more raw form. Like we're learning a little bit about like his past, how he was. They did a little flashback last season. I mean this season, with like like the, his wife.
Yeah.
And how she is Lucille, I think it was. Yeah. And he does have compassion in him, and I feel like we kind of seen a little bit of that, but at the same time, it's just that he has a harshness with how he handles like people growing, and so he told him the words that he needs to hear out of this so that he can come out of it stronger. He said, like, he was really hard. He was like, "You failed as a leader, and you failed as a father."
Yeah, and he was just like, you need
He's
to
like,
give up.
don't make another stupid mistake that's going to get someone else you love killed. And he's literally saying, like, I'm trying to save you guys. Which is why I killed your friends to begin with. And it's like, I know it's really hard for someone to see that objectively and be like, how does that make sense? But, like, I think he's trying to finally get Rick to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, but see, Rick's a boss. He's not gonna bow down to Negan. I can't see him bowing down to Negan.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
That's the thing, because Rick's is
entire.
Negan. Rick is a Negan. You see what I'm saying? He's
kind
a boss.
Yeah,
he's not the same, but I'm saying like Negan's a leader of his people, and Rick is his own leader, but not to the same extent as Negan. Negan has way more people. Rick has always been a leader of a small group. Alexandria is the first time that Rick had to be a leader of a lot of people, and he clearly failed at that.
Rick is one of the only people who led without fear. And that's basically why he's been a good protagonist so far. There was like the big turnaround at the end of season 2 when he was like, this isn't a democracy anymore. And it was the quote unquote Rick-tatorship now.
But at the same time, he had just like a small group of people, whereas Negan has like an entire thing of people.
Yeah.
He has more experience in being a leader of a lot of people with a lot of huge personalities that are clearly going against him, like the blonde guy, like Simon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are others. And Rick has his little group of people with Daryl and his struggles. He has a few people here and there, but he's never really had to rule to the extent of Negan, and Negan knows.
Yeah, so this is like...
He has more experience than Rick.
Exactly, it's like a veteran just talking to someone with some experience saying like, listen, let me be in charge. And it's like, it's kind of like he's saying like, we can come to common ground. You just need to stand down. You just have to let me do what I need to do.
Right.
He's like, stop fighting. That's basically what he's saying. And we didn't get Rick's direct answer. I mean, like he was. I feel like
listening. He could have hung up.
I feel like his response was like just out of anger.
Yeah, it definitely
like
was.
He was
I'm gonna
really
kill
emotional.
You. I'm gonna kill you.
He just kept going hard, just saying like, I'm going to kill you. Like he's just like, who's gonna be next? And he's like saying it's you. Like he just wanted to like get it out kind of thing. Yeah, and it just seemed like Negan was really trying to like. He's like, it was like a moment where Negan could actually make Rick think a little bit more, and maybe we're gonna get that. But yeah,
I can't see Rick bowing down to Negan. I just can't see it. But at the same time, I don't see Rick beating him. I really don't. So
I know we still have like a good amount of episodes left, but at the same time, I'm just thinking like, if he's gonna be really honest to himself, and if he's actually going to listen to what Carl wants, and he thinks about it objectively of everything that's available to them as an option, he's probably going to see that the only realistic way for them to be able to come to some form of peace is to just join Negan. And so I think that may be something he may consider now.
I think the only way, if that's even possible to happen, is that because Rick has never really sat down and had a real normal human conversation with Negan to see what his philosophy even is.
It's true.
Like the priest he's explained to him, he got trapped with him in the place, he had time.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know, if maybe he's the only one, and maybe even Eugene, but Eugene, who cares about him? But I mean, like, Rick doesn't even he never let Negan, like, he never heard him out, like, to even understand what he's even doing. He just saw him as a threat automatically and was like, he killed somebody, he killed Glenn, he's done. We need to get him out.
That's basically what's going on. And
they never got a chance to really understand what Negan is doing here with the Saviors.
Yeah, and Rick Rick pretty much saw this and he was pretty much went in one direction right away. But the whole point of what Negan's trying to do is just trying to test to see, like, he wants to try to win him over. Like, if I can get someone that's as ambitious as this guy on my team with all of his people, then that will be a really big bonus for us and will help us out a lot. Right. He saw those kind of characteristics in Carl as well.
Right.
And that's why he was really, I feel like he actually was really hurt to hear that Carl died.
Well, he liked Carl a lot.
You know that. He made him spaghetti.
Yeah, he made him spaghetti. So yeah, I mean, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode? Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. I think that we're going to have some serious contemplation from Rick in regards to how they want to move forward from here. I also think that if he chooses not to change what he's been doing, which is just all-out war, then Negan's going to demonstrate some other form of power that we haven't seen yet.
He's probably going to. I don't think Rick's going to be down with it right away. I feel like he's going to maybe try a last attempt, and I think that Negan might end up killing someone else.
I think it's going to
kind of say, like, yo, I'm not fucking joking. Like,
yeah, you got to be on my team. The way that this conversation went at the end of that episode, it was kind of like, it almost sounded like the end of the road of, like, the end. It's like the calm before the actual storm in a way. It was kind of like, listen, you see how it is right now? You just lost your kid and it's not looking good for you to be. It almost sounded like he was really comfortable with the way things were. He's like, you're going to lose more people that you love if you don't change the way things are right now.
And how is he going to lose people? Negan's going to kill those people.
Exactly.
So he's pretty much telling you, I'm giving you a chance right now to just stop this shit.
So next episode, I think that they're definitely going to touch on the drama that's going to happen between Simon and Negan. We're going to have some actual fallout that's going to happen within the sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And also, I think that we're going to finally touch base with what's going on with everybody that's recruiting. But I mean, like grouping back together. Like, we're probably going to get some actual scenes from the hilltop.
I hope so.
Yeah, and we're going to definitely get some progress on people learning more about Carl's death. And maybe we're going to do more mourning, because Carl was one of the few people left in the show that was there since the absolute episode 1, season 1.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is a pretty big deal. I don't think that he's going to die, and we're going to see Rick not even talk about it with Michonne. And then that's it. Like, Lori had like a good half season of depression, of walking around the prison, just hallucinating and like not being in proper state of mind, seeing her around and stuff.
Yeah.
That was like impacting him this much. His firstborn son, this should be a much bigger deal for him.
Oh yeah.
I feel like right now he's still just kind of focused. In fact, he's still kind of just in the zone. Like,
he's just in anger right now.
Like, yeah, Carl just died. They started making their way out and they're driving. And then this whole thing happened with the people over there. They're just doing objectives right now. They're about to meet back with the people.
I think once they get to Hilltop, he's going to really start mourning, because he's going to have to tell everybody, and then he's going to see Judith and Daryl and all of them. And it's going to be like a very emotional thing, but then at the same time, action. Because
they don't have time for this.
38 people of Negan's people are at Hilltop. Yeah. And Negan is not going to let that go.
Exactly. They're going to act pretty much immediately. And unfortunately, there's no time to just sit around. This isn't season 2 where everyone's just kind of doing a job at a farm in Herschel's farm, where they're just kind of, taking their time or whatever. Like, this is war. We're still in war right now.
Yeah, still in war.
Yeah, so it's going to continue to go down. I feel like we're going to get everybody to Hilltop. And we're going to see some progression based on the main plot. I think that's where we're getting to now.
You know how Walking Dead is, though. They never have action episodes all in a row. This is like an action episode, even though it wasn't. And then I think this next episode might just be them mourning Carl and nothing with Negan. And then the episode after that, they're going to have something going down a hilltop with Negan trying to get his people back and something.
In some way, Negan's going to... I don't know if Negan actually knows yet. Maybe he doesn't, but he's going to find out in some way. Maybe it's going to be from one of the people ratting out Simon. Maybe Simon's going to tell him himself. Maybe Rick is going to tell him. Maybe it is going to be the little paint thing that we noticed. But only way to find out is to wait till next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and stay tuned to our next episode. On Tuesday, we'll be talking about This Is Us. And if you like our podcast, please make sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, And let us know in the comments what you thought, what your predictions are for the next episode of Walking Dead. And we'll see you guys next time.